Welcome back to another video. We're back on the boat here, and I'm a week late. I was been sick the past week for something, and it was pretty bad. Didn't leave the bed for a couple days. Finally limped ashore, got some antibiotics, seem to be doing better. But since then, we have done a lot since I last talked to you. We'll start off, the kitchen renovation continues, and if you've been watching, I got rid of my old propane stove in favor of this electric cooktop. And big thanks to Sonny, he sent out a electric oven as well. It's like a bread maker, air fryer, and oven all in one, which has been fun to have. Ever since I've had the boat, I just had the propane cooktop, so I've been doing a little bacon, making some bread, bacon quesadillas and french fries, and so big thanks to him. That's been a cool addition to have on the boat. Still kind of playing with where I'm going to put it, but we will eventually get both of these permanently bolted down to the tabletop, so we don't have to stow them every time when we're sailing. Super cool upgrade. He also sent out some more of this window vinyl that I'm putting on all the windows. I'll see if I can show you a picture from the outside, but I've got that on. That's really nice just for privacy as well as keeping the heat down, less like a greenhouse. I thought I measured that out and had enough for all of them, but I still have 2 more windows back here I got to do, and then all the hatches as well. So I did poor measurements there, but I've ordered that. It should be coming tomorrow. And one more thing, big thanks to Sonny, he sent out a couple cruising flags as well. So I'm trying to get enough of these for all the islands. I think there's almost 20 countries that we're going to try to hit this spring and summer, and each one needs a courtesy flag. So big thank you to Sonny. I appreciate that a lot. Some great additions to the boat, and some projects I have worked on as well. I didn't feel like I did a couple things some days when I was sick that felt a little better, but buddy Ray in the harbor was a engine marine mechanic for a while. He's like, have you ever cleaned your heat exchanger? I hadn't, didn't know you're supposed to, so he came over, pulled the core out, and what happens here is it sucks salt water in, and then engine coolant comes in here, and it keeps them separated, but exchanges the heat from the coolant to the salt water, which gets pumped overboard. So we pulled that out, dipped it in some muriatic acid, along with my freshwater strainer, my sea strainer, and those cleaned up really nice, which was cool. And I went ahead and pulled the old coolant out, and I put new coolant in, but then as I was thinking about it, the coolant I pulled out was really red and kind of rusty looking, so I shouldn't have replaced the coolant. So today's project is to drain the coolant, but first we're putting this like super flush in, which is supposed to help. You run the engine with this in, it's supposed to kind of like chemically remove any rust or grime buildup on the inside of the coolant pass, because I think there was a leak in the heat exchanger where some salt water got in, or maybe I mixed the coolants wrong. It's getting rusty. So the whole point is to exchange heat. You can't have the buildup. So we're gonna put this in, run the engine for a bit, and then drain it, put new coolant in. Yeah, that's today's project. Okay, so it says to keep the cap off, and then we will do the starting from the inside method. So we can get this napped. Alright, it took a little bit, not a great sign. But now we're supposed to let it warm up, and then we'll add this stuff in, let it run for 10 minutes with the cap on, see what happens. While this thing's heating up, I will also add, I took off the mixing elbow, cleaned that out as well, as a little sooty, and then did an oil change and also transmission oil. So engine's looking good. The reason I'm doing all this is I've got a date to get hauled out, and I think I've got like 2 or 3 days. The boatyard's gonna call me. $600 I think for hauling in, putting back out, pressure wash in the bottom, and then a week in the yard. So we've got a lot of projects I'd like to do, one of which, new propeller, new through hole, new shaft seal, and then we got to fix this rudder. So we'll get to that when we get hauled out, but I went ahead and decided to do kind of an engine overhaul, not an overhaul, but some much needed maintenance, so we're ready to get motored over there and do the rest of the projects. ran the engine for 10 minutes with that stuff in there. We're gonna give it a second, cool down a little bit so we don't hurt ourselves. And then we'll drain this coolant out. It was green. I drained a little bit out before I even put this cleaner in. You can already see the rust that was in the new coolant. So I think this is gonna be worth doing. This stuff is cheap down here. It's in Spanish, but I think that's coolant. We'll get her swapped out. It should be ready to go. I'll be honest with you, I expected that to look a lot darker. There's some chunks in there, but really not much. I don't know if I needed to even do this. I don't know if it worked. Yeah, so we're going to, the bottle says to put some water in, run that to kind of rinse out this cleaning stuff, drain her again, and then we'll put the new coolant in. But I can't get this other side drain valve to open. It's kind of sealed shut, corrosion, so hopefully this one is good enough. So 3 or 4 flushes here. It's the original coolant and then some water flush, so I'm gonna dispose of that. And we just got a bunch of water and rust. The last couple, I guess the last flush I did, still a touch of brown, but a whole lot better, no green. I think we got the majority of the rust out. Probably should have used this concentrate stuff. I should have probably drained all this first and put it in with the water later or something. I don't know if it really did much, but filled up with some new coolant as well. So like I said, we're gonna take this to shore, dispose of, and then get to cleaning up all this stuff. Later the same day, I have gone and removed my sun covers in preparation for motoring the boat over. And we're going now to shore. I don't know if I told you before, but I took, these are my sheet blocks. So like where the jib sheet runs back here, then up to the winch. It goes through these, and both of them are cracking the plastic. I probably was overloading the boat a little bit, and they're also 40 some years old, so I tried beating the shaft out to no luck. It's got a bit of a lip on this side, but I texted the machine guy in town, and he said there's a motorcycle repair shop that has a hydraulic press. So we're gonna go try to find that. We're gonna go get some lunch, try to find that, and see if they can push these pins out, and then if so, we can measure the blocks, 3D print new ones, and try to make them solid plastic. We'll see if they're strong enough, and then take them back and have them reinsert the pins. So yeah, that's today. Well, unfortunately, we tried the hydraulic press, broke my stinking piece, and you can see it's got a lip. We're pushing it the right way, but I guess it's just in there tighter than expected. So I have to do some searching on the internet, see if they make this piece to replace it, because it's kind of stinking important. So we're back on the boat now. You saw the failed attempt on fixing the blocks. Broke the stinking aluminum. That shaft was in there so hard. So gonna do some Googling now and see if we can't find a replacement for that, maybe on eBay or something. But swung by a box pack where we get the Amazon orders in, and somebody shipped me a flamethrower. So I did not order this. If you're watching this was you, let me know, because I'm curious. They had lots of questions. It had been searched by customs. But yeah, we get a flamethrower now. So I'm pretty sure I got one of the canisters. I want to try it. But yeah, that's a little odd. I don't know if this is an indoor thing to test, but oh my gosh. What the heck? Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know why. Maybe I can scare the pirates off with this on the boat. All right. It's a new day. We are working on the engine again. At least we're gonna try, I think. Yesterday, well, it's been like a what, week and 3 days now with no sun. It's been cloudy like this. This is that Hurricane Melissa, I think it's what it's called. That's hitting Jamaica right now. Like I said, it's close enough. No sun for a week. So the solar panels are not doing much. And waking up every day, the batteries are like 10%. And they charge up to maybe 20, 30 by the end of the day, which is no good. So all I've been running, no lights, just the fan really. And now I cook with electric. This has been kind of difficult. So what I've looked at is I got a DC to DC charger I put in the boat, but I never actually wired it up. So I wired that up yesterday, ran the engine. It pumps 20 amps into the house batteries. But when I turned it off, I noticed I think it was actually draining the start battery because I don't think the alternator was quite keeping up. So a year ago, I bought a spare alternator, and I went ahead and bought an 80 amp. I think that's what this is. So it's going to cause the engine to bog down a little more, but pump out a lot more current. So this one I think is the standard. It's like 10, 15, 20 amps, somewhere around there. It looks to be similar, plug and play. We're going to try it. And just see then if we can produce more power, kind of use the engine like a generator. Looking pretty on there. Shows it's charging the start battery, which is good. I did not upgrade the wire gauge, so we'll see if this produces much more amps. After Googling, they said the actual stock alternator smaller, but I guess it does almost 50 amps. I think this is 80, so it's not a huge upgrade. And it supposedly only produces as much current, I think, as the battery needs. We'll find out. I'm keeping an eye on the wires, make sure they don't overheat, but it seems to be running great. Let the engine run for a bit, and it's definitely charging, which is great. Getting about 30 amps going into the batteries, 10 from the solar. In this conditions is kind of good, I guess. And 20 from the DC to DC charger. But the wires that were running off were just these two here that went into this wire harness. I'm not sure where they went after, because on the battery itself there's no smaller gauge. There's just this larger gauge coming from the engine. So what I did is those were getting a little toasty. I kept them on the way they are. I added a one wire from the ground to the chassis, and then also added this other positive to the positive on the starter coil or relay, because that runs back to the battery anyways. And yeah, so the thought is that those two extra wires will kind of help spread out this current a little more through the rest of the wire harness. If you want to be 100% proper, I guess you could run it all the way back to the engine its own line, but on Google, a couple forums claim that some of the engines actually came this way. They would run it just to the starter to save costs on the wiring. So we're going to try it for a bit. I'm going to get her fired back up, closed up here so it's quiet, and then we'll see how long we can charge the batteries for. It is the next day. I woke up early for some reason. Put some of that black vinyl on these hatches. The sun has shown back up. I think Melissa has just about left the Bahamas, the hurricane. So we finally have solar running again, which is great. I've got the internet on, and I'm working on, I just showed you, working on a project. I just showed you this not long ago, but broke the stinking cheek block. And I'm not finding anything on Google for replacements. There's a used boat part place in town I'm going to go check. But I saw a guy online who made his own, and it got me thinking. So I drew up this in CAD here. This is something I think I could pretty easily whip together, and using McMaster car. Let's see if I can find my carts. You can buy just about anything in any size, any shape, any thread you could ever imagine. So I've found some aluminum bar, quarter thick, 3-inch wide, 6-inch long, and they're only $7 a pop. So 4 of those, 3/4 inch outer diameter spacers. I got the stainless screws with the same thread to go ahead and fit in the the holes that are already in the boat, all sorts of goodies. And I think we can throw that together into this. Just drill some holes in the aluminum plates, use some spacers here, and then maybe 3D print the sheave, the plastic pulley. If I print it in 100% plastic, I don't know if it's going to be strong enough, because Google says that a jib cheek block can take up to like 2,000 pounds of force on it with the angle the rope's coming in, and that's holding almost the whole sail, pulling the boat. So we're going to try it just for the fun of it. But then I got a little, I don't know what you call that, a bushing inside there, and then a screw. I think I can countersink, I think that's what you call that. Add a little chamfer on there, pop that bad boy in. These would bolt into the boat. We'll see. I think the total parts come out to, I added some extra bolts just for spares, but I think it was gonna be like 85 bucks, $80, something like that, for enough parts to make 2 of these. And anything similar for other boats is like $100 to $200 each. So not as pretty, but I enjoy making stuff. And then if it breaks again, we'll have spare parts and know how to fix it. So that's kind of the game plan. I don't have the tools, or I guess I could do it on the boat, but I'm leaving in a couple weeks for Christmas, Thanksgiving and all that, so I'm going to ship the parts to Missouri and use the workshop at my grandparents' there to fabricate these bad boys up. So what's great about CAD, which is what they call designing on the computer here, is you can think you have the perfect idea laid out. And that first design, I had a design in my head. I was like, it's simple, it's easy, it's perfect, nothing to change. But I'm like, I want to show you all, so I'll design on the computer for fun. I lay it out and I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, maybe I could change this, maybe I could change this. Looking at, this is the original design. I was thinking, well, I need to have a bolt on each corner to make it stronger. But then when I do that, I don't have the old design anymore, but you would notice the bolts was kind of like too close to where the rope would probably be rubbing it, especially with that spacer on there. So I'm like, well, let's see, this original design works so well, let's see if we can't mimic it a little more. And in doing so, I'm able to cut out 2 spacers, which are like $1 or $2 each. I can use the original stainless screws for these points. They're the right size and thread, so that saves another couple dollars. And then I was looking at it as well, instead of having this shaft down here with a nut on top, I'd like to make it smoother and prettier. I think my tap set, I should be able to tap the 1/4 inch aluminum on the bottom and use also one of these existing screws and just thread it in there, make sure to put plenty of Loctite since it will be spinning. So yeah, so that, all those changes there brought the total down from, I think it was $85 for enough parts for 2. And if it loads, yeah, new total is $61. So we just saved $25. That's I don't know, that's almost 30% of the cost of that project, just from a couple little design changes. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm kind of a nerd about this stuff. But yeah, I think it looks better. Should be strong enough still, because all the force was pulling this way to begin with. And as long as we can get this cut, this large radius here is going to be a bit more difficult to manufacture by hand, just with normal woodworking tools. But thankfully it's aluminum, so it should be soft enough we can find a way to chop that and grind it and smooth it and make it still look pretty. But that's the design right now. Give me another hour or two of just sitting here looking at it. I might change it again, but I thought that was kind of fun, just the R&D process. So I got invited to go run some horses here on the beach in town by Nelson. He is trying to train these horses for tourists eventually to ride on the beach, and so he asked us if we want to be the guinea pigs and ride. I've never ridden a horse before, just maybe a donkey a while back. So this was a whole lot of fun. Got to learn how to do that and have a great time riding around on the beach. And yeah, who's going to turn down an opportunity like that? Okay, so I've got the boat prepped, and the marina finally called and said today's the day to move the boat. So everything's picked up, lines are ready, fenders are out. My buddy Rick, he's gonna help me move just to have some extra help with all the lines, and getting off the mooring here especially is difficult. But it's a little nerve-wracking because I was over there talking to them, and the trailer that's supposedly hauling me out is all in pieces across the yard. And so they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll have it fixed in a couple hours when you get here. No problem. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to test the new engine cleaning things we did, see how that goes. I'll get you tossed up on the camera up here, and we will get underway. Later in the day now, made it here to the boatyard just fine. Big thanks again to Rick for helping me out with running the lines. Tied up on the seawall here. They told me like a week ago that I could get hauled out a week ago, and then we kind of waited. The trailer broke, so they said this morning, yeah, it's fine. I show up and the trailer is in pieces all across the yard. So I'm assuming I just get to stay here for free on the wall until it's fixed, however long that is. At least they got a free shower here. But we are tied up now. I guess you can't see squat, but we're gonna check the lines. Let's see. The tide's coming up pretty high here, but you can't see squat. But anyways, you couldn't see anything. I was gonna show you what it looked like, but yeah, we're just waiting, I guess. Done a little picking up, which was nice to get the boat moved over, but the trailer, the way it works here, most boatyards in the States have like a big, it's like a big rectangle, and it drives over top of the boat, and they put straps underneath and then raise the boat up like a crane. And then the thing's like a robot. Someone stands on the ground, drives it around, drops you off in your spot. Here, it's a little simpler. It's just like a big trailer. They slide it under. I think it does have some hydraulic lifts. Then they use a tractor and a pickup truck tied together to get enough power to pull you out. So that'll be fun to watch, and I guess we're the guinea pig to see if the trailer works, if they fixed it right. Either way though, like I said, not a bad place to be. There is a ton of mosquitoes and no seams here, so those bug screens we made up are coming in very handy. You can't even see it, it's so dark. And then I bought in town some of these mosquito coils that like burn, and they're safe for indoor use, because I was pre-warned by some guys that the yard was going to be bad. But yeah, that's that. It's just a waiting game. I guess next time you see me, we will be working on a project, or hopefully getting hauled out. So it's Tuesday, same day as the last time I talked to you. I have not received many updates, but all of a sudden the guys come over and they're like, hey, you ready? And I'm like, it's good to know. But they've got, shoot, you can't really see. Oh, there we go. They got the cat. For some reason they want to put them in first, even though I'm in the way, and then put me in after. So it's 6 o'clock now. The sun is setting. It's raining, of course. But the owner of the yard showed up and said he's gonna try to get me out today. So I'm optimistic. I shouldn't be, but I'm just kind of huddled down here waiting and watching them. It's probably going to be at least another hour, because they want to pull the stands off and then paint where those were. And now that it's raining, and then they got to put the boat in, and they claim that we're both going to be able to fit in the little channel here. I'm locking the windows down for the rain, but hey, I'm not the boss or anything. I'm just sitting around. Like I said, as long as I'm dry. I made some bread today. We need some of that. We'll sit inside and watch them through the windows. I'm having fun. I gotta edit this stinking video though. That's the only problem. Is I've been procrastinating all day doing other stuff in town, and I figured I'd edit the video tonight because I didn't expect to be hauled out. But that's my rant. I will talk to you later. Well, that's gonna wrap it up here for this week's video. I was crazy way to end it. We're sitting here, supposed to be hauled out tonight. Supposed to be hauled out a week ago, but as you all are picking up by now, this is a different country and a different speed. And all I can say is I'm glad I was not the first boat to test out that trailer. It sounds like the trailer itself is broken. I talked to the owner. He thinks the keel is broken as well on the, I think the port side. I don't know my port and starboard very well, but that's what he thinks. They're borrowing my torch over there, flashlight, checking it all out. I'm trying to stay out of it. There's enough people as is. It doesn't look good. I'm hoping that just the trailer's broken though, because that's the part they were fixing the past couple of days. It's so rusted where the wheels attached to the trailer. They're welding on all sorts of plates, trying to reinforce it. And I'm assuming that's where it snapped, but like I said, we'll find out in the next video. It's Tuesday night. I edit these videos, put them out Wednesday morning, so leaving you on a cliffhanger. Hopefully next week I will be getting hauled out, and I don't know, I'm a little nervous now, but it's got to be done. I'm just going to be hanging on the wall probably for, I guess it could be another week till they fix the trailer. But appreciate y'all for watching, tuning in, and I will see y'all in next week's video.